Guys, before we get started with this video, I want to let you know, please post any comments or questions that you might have about any of the stuff that we're going over here. We've got a lot more fencing to go. We got a lot more fencing to go on the farm and a lot more fencing videos to do. So a lot more information, but please ask questions, leave comments if you have any. All right? Hey guys, this is Josh, Stoney Ridge Farmer, here with Luke from Farm Fence Solutions here in Worthington, Indiana, and we'll be looking at some fence today. Is that right?
Yeah.
So we just had the Farm Fence Solutions, what do you call it?
Fall Fence Forum.
The Fall Fence Forum down here. We had a bit of a fencing competition slash rodeo down here, and we're going to look at all of the fencing that we have and all the bracing that we have. We're going to talk to you a little bit about the fencing, the style of fencing, and the braces, so maybe we can help you out when you get ready to build your fence. Right?
Yep.
All right, we're going to follow Luke around a little bit, and he's going to talk fence to us.
I'm Luke with Farm Fence Solutions, and we're here to take a look at the braces that were in the preliminary round of our fencing competition yesterday. This one was built by Sam Bunch Fencing. He's located in Indiana, and what he's done is a traditional H-brace. It looks like he's used a ratchet strainer to tension it and a crimp sleeve to secure the ratchet strainer. That's fairly standard for this part of the world. That's a 7-inch by 10-foot strainer, a 6-inch by 9-foot brace post, and then a 5-inch by 10-foot strut. He's used 2 wraps of 12.5 gauge high tensile wire in a figure 8 pattern, and he's got that attached at the top. It just runs over the top of a brace pin, which we allowed in the competition, and then at the bottom he's got that secured with a staple. The way that they've pinned these together, it's traditional to use a short pin here, so there's a shallow hole drilled in the strainer post and a shallow hole drilled here. That's a 5-inch pin, and then the brace post is drilled all the way through, and we use a 10 or a 12-inch pin, which goes into the post here. Allows you to leave a little bit left out here to hold the brace wire. These are cylinder posts, so they're a consistent diameter all the way down. It doesn't really matter which end goes in the ground. If you use a tapered post, we would generally drive the small end in, or if you're digging holes, we would put the big end in the ground. This is Tornado Titan 134812. The 13 is the 13 line wires, 48 is the total inches in height, and the 12 is the stay spacing. This is the Titan knot, and it's good for cattle fence, goats, horses, all types of livestock. All the fencing in this section of the competition, what we did the first day in the preliminaries, is 134812. This brace was built by Sutherland Fencing and Cox Fencing from Galax, Virginia. They showed up without any equipment, just came to watch, and we had a spare post driver. They asked if we had some tool belts and hammers, and we're in if we can use a post driver, and we were glad to have them. The brace that they've built is very similar to the last one that we looked at. It's 12.5 gauge high tensile. Instead of using a crimp sleeve, which we allowed, they've wrapped it, which is perfectly acceptable. Again, that's in a figure 8, just like the last one. This is a Strain-Right XT1 ratchet strainer. And what they've done is, again, gone over the top of the brace pin, and then in addition, they've used staples on both sides. And the vertical staple here is to keep that wire from digging into the post. Makes it slide easier also when they put it together. One of the portions that they got docked on in the competition was not stripping the barbs off of the end post. This is not necessary, but it's just a kind of a matter of quality. If this were a gate opening, that's shoulder high, so we always strip the barbs off just to prevent anybody from rubbing up against the barb when they're passing through a gate. They have gone with just a wrap style, which docked them a couple of points. Not bad at all. It works. These guys build a lot of fence and they don't have any failures. You'll see termination knots also used. The reason for the brace wire running from top to bottom at this end, the fence is trying to pull the strain post that direction, and so the brace wire counteracts that force by pulling the post back over this direction. This fence was constructed by Ryan Sloop of Sloop Fence and Gavin Langley's Fencing. They teamed up from North Carolina. The way that this brace works, there's a mortise here in the strain post that's cut. It's got a square back end, and then this post is cut to fit that. It's planed off where it fits nice and tight, so that's the mating surface at the back of that is flat. So that's a flat against flat. Now down here at what we call the dead man end or the block end, traditionally around the world they'll bury a block that's horizontal at a significant depth. It's hard digging here, and we get frost heaves, so that would spit that out of the ground. This is actually a 9-foot post driven in, and they had to cut about a foot off. So there's 8 foot of post in here that's holding this post. This fence was built by Jake Wilson, Wilson Fence, and see, I can't remember which helper it must have been. Bojangles helped him on this. They're from the Shenandoah Valley, Virginia. Nice tidy knot work here. Jake builds a almost traditional H-brace. He's made some modifications over the years, and it's really detailed. So the way that Jake Wilson builds his braces and teaches his guys to build the braces is very unique. These are stacked in here, and he's very particular about it. 2 strands over 2 strands, and it's not this way. So that the way that those go around the post, he feels that he gains more power out of this brace. He also raises the lower end, which lowers the angle of the brace wire and prevents the strain post from popping out of the ground. They've got a unique way of tying off with no hardware at this end by going around the brace pin. And this is the only thing you ever see him hard staple is right here. These are the ends of that brace wire. And then to tighten it up further, they put these wraps on, and they'll put those down in the middle, and they drive these up until they've got that brace tight enough. So the farther they drive that up, the tighter it gets. What this also does, especially at the lower end, instead of having a crisscross, it reduces the chance of animal entrapment if there's animals on this side of the fence. So this would be the only place that an animal could get a foot in. This is the second day of our fencing competition, the final round. We're going to show you a little bit of the differences that we allowed these guys to have. We let them have the choice of steel pipe post or timber post. This team, Langley and Sloop Fencing, happened to pick steel pipe, galvanized pipe. They've got nice even termination knots, even on the barbed wire. What the spec was for today was 842/6 Titan from Tornado. It's a fixed knot, 6-inch stay, 42 inches high, 2 strands of barb on top with 1 plain strand underneath. What they've driven here for a strain post is a 4-inch 10-foot. The strut is a 2.5-inch 10-foot. And then what they've used for a dead man is a 3-inch 6-foot driven flush to the ground. So that's 6 foot of pipe all the way in the ground there. And they've coped and welded all this pipe together. This fence was built by Sutherland Fencing and Cox Fencing from Galax, Virginia, teamed up on this for the finals today. This is an interesting brace, and what we've got, we're coming off the hill here. We started them in the flat up the top, crest the hill and come down, and so this is what they would use for a hold down. They fence in the mountains all the time. It's very interesting. I've never seen it before. Functional, and it's pretty. It's very neat to look at, but that's their hold down. What we would have is this post eventually pulling out of the ground because this wire's so tight if they didn't have that built into it. So they've got it braced in both directions with the angled struts there pushing down on this center post to prevent that post from heaving. This is another one of the competitors that selected pipe for his final run. Tyler Russell, Ty's Custom Fencing, been in the business 9 months. 9 months, and he's already doing this good of work. This end isn't near as good as his other end, but these are nice termination knots for a guy that's just getting in the business. He's got the tightest wire on this line. They almost finished. They almost got it done. They lacked 1 post of getting the barbed wire tied down inside the time limit. Still an excellent effort. Absolutely great effort by these guys. Just been doing it for 9 months, part-time. Made the finals and wasn't very far off of winning it. Again, the spec for today was 842/6 Tornado Titan, which is a fixed knot, so it's got a solid vertical stay. You can go with a much larger post spacing than what we used today. We just wanted to make them drive some post. This is a Tornado Titan 14 gauge high tensile barb. It's got a 4-inch barb spacing, so a little bit tighter. This weighs right at 12 pounds more than the next best barbed wire per roll. Same gauge, same barbs, ours weighs more, and it's in these barbs here. We've got a plain wire, 12.5 gauge high tensile underneath, and they're all tied to the post right here with an easy post twist tie. So that's a preformed tie, and it goes in a drill chuck and it spins right on there. Now the great thing about these is they're tight enough, they keep the wire from slipping vertically, but they'll allow the wire to slide horizontally. If there's an impact, it'll let that wire slide. You see this knot moving? That's what you want your fence to do. That's why you never hard staple, you never tie it off hard to the post. But no matter what you do, you can't move it up or down.
Well, the sun's going down here in Worthington, Indiana. Luke, I want to thank you so much for inviting me out here.
Thanks for coming.
About a 10-hour drive back to North Carolina.
I've done it.
Yeah, he's done it. He's got, what, 2 or 3, 4
Yeah.
times now, yeah.
Plenty.
So we're going to do it again tonight. Going to drive all night long, get back home to the Stoney Ridge. But I just wanted to thank you so much. We've learned so much here. A lot of action going on. We've got 2 videos prior to this. There'll be links to them at the end of this video. So if you want to watch the fence building competition, but this is the educational portion of our fence building competition for you. Luke's coming back to the farm. Much more fencing to go on the farm. We just loaded up a post driver from ProTech Machinery.
Yeah, P200.
P200 ProTech, and we're gonna go put that thing to work on my farm. So thanks for the post driver for what, 1 year?
1 year.
5 year?
1 year.
1 year? 7 years?
5, yeah, maybe.
Guys, thanks a lot for joining us here off the Stoney Ridge with Luke. Learning a lot. And tornado wire. Good stuff. Thanks a lot. See you next time. Woo!
In the land of the free.